For those of you who know me, I am a very big wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan for about over a decade now. Well, I would say probably just now a decade. I started really watching back towards the end of 2014, and then 2015 is when I really started watching consistently. So I've been a wrestling fan for about a decade. And this past weekend, they recently had WWE Super Bowl Extravaganza Wrestlemania 41, and it was in Las Vegas. It was 2 nights, and I'm going to talk about both nights, and I'm going to give you my review and my opinion on WrestleMania 41, the full show, and everything that went down. So let's get into it. Jey Uso versus Gunther. So this match opened the show, and I will say, I thought the match was good. I thought it was good. It opening the show, I think, was the right call with the other matches that we had on the card. I really didn't think there was a spot open for Jey Uso and Gunther, at least to be in either of those main events. The storyline did not really make it necessary for it to be one of the really true main events of either nights of WrestleMania. But, yeah, I thought it was good. The ending was a bit fast. I felt like it was a bit fast. I felt like the match needed about maybe just like 5-10 more minutes, maybe just a little bit more back and forth between the two. But Gunther tapping out to Jey Uso is actually very poetic, because that's exactly what Gunther did to Jimmy Uso just a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, taking Jimmy Uso out and taking him off the WrestleMania card entirely. I do think it sucks that they had to bring Jimmy Uso in just to propel this storyline, to get people to actually care about it. But, you know, they got to do what they got to do. And honestly, it works on us. This past Monday on Raw, they had the whole celebration with the World Heavyweight Championship, and I thought it was great. Jey Uso being champion, I think it was finally time to pull the trigger on it, only because they've built him up multiple times, and they've had him lose multiple times after being built up for so long. So I feel like if they would have done that this time, nobody really would have wanted to buy into Jey Uso and buy that Jey Uso stock anymore. But, yeah, the Yeet Man is the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I don't really know where they're going to go with storylines. I guess they could have him versus Seth Rollins, which we'll get into Seth Rollins later on. But they also could have him face Braun Breaker, which we'll also get into Braun Breaker later on. But, yeah, Jey Uso, new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm excited to see where his championship reign goes. Hopefully it's a good one. Maybe we'll eventually get that brother Jimmy versus Jey for the World Heavyweight Championship, maybe in a better match than what they had at WrestleMania 40, I hope. But, we'll see, and we'll just see how this title reign goes for Jey Uso. The second match of night one was the New Day versus the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championships. And honestly, this match, it was getting good, and right as it was getting good, and it really was almost there to be in one of those good black and gold NXT tag team matches with the War Raiders, it ended. And honestly, it ended with the same result that everybody kind of expected. The New Day walked out as the World Tag Team Champions. I like the War Raiders, so I thought it kind of sucked seeing the War Raiders lose on such a big stage. But honestly, the match itself was short, but it was good in what they had, and then the ending just kind of ruined it all for me. It just kind of ended out of nowhere when we've seen the War Raiders really go through so much more and take so much more, and to just see the New Day win, just kind of disappointing. And then as soon as New Day won, they grabbed those titles and they ran out of there. So I immediately was like, oh, Big E is not coming back, which honestly, we can't really expect Big E to make a return in the future. We all know that he's still not physically cleared to compete in the ring. So for us to really want Big E back, it's good to have a fan base that really wants you back, but you also need to have an understanding fan base. And I completely understand why Big E wasn't there. But overall, yeah, the match I just didn't think was that good. Honestly, they could have replaced this match with the TLC tag team match from SmackDown that we're getting next week on SmackDown. But yeah, New Day's your World Tag Team Champions. I think it was like their 15th or 16th time winning the titles. So we'll just have to see what goes on with the reign after this. Now, the third match of night one was Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And this was actually one of my more anticipated matches for WrestleMania. I had a feeling that it was going to be good, and I was right. It was a very good match. The build-up just throughout the past few weeks was really getting people involved, and it really got me involved, and I really enjoyed every second of it. And the match did just about the same. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. The entrances were pretty cool. Everybody didn't really like Jade Cargill's little like weather forecast entrance thing. I thought it was cool. I thought it added a little bit to it, but nothing crazy. Naomi's entrance was pretty cool. They both had really cool gear on, and they put on a really good match, a really good less than 10-minute match to really get done what they were trying to get done, and that is display Jade Cargill in a singles stratosphere with somebody as good as Naomi. And I think Jade Cargill can absolutely go, and she can absolutely hold up to that name. And I think she's going to be eventually a very, very big name and a big legend in the WWE. I don't know where exactly we're going to go from this. Maybe they'll give Jade Cargill a opportunity at Tiffany Stratton. I think that would be pretty cool. I would eventually like to see Jade Cargill or even Naomi win the WWE Women's World Championship. But yeah, good match from the two, and hopefully maybe we'll get maybe one more match out of the rivalry, maybe an Extreme Rules or a stipulation match. But if that's it for the rivalry, then I'm okay with it. It was a good match from both of them. Now, the next match was supposed to be El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. But on the SmackDown episode before WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio sadly got accidentally injured and he was not able to compete. So, therefore, they had Rey Fénix take Rey Mysterio's spot. And I will say it was a pretty good match. It was cool, and it was very, very nice to see Rey Fénix get a spot on WrestleMania after debuting just only a couple weeks back. And to get a good match in with somebody the likes of El Grande Americano on WrestleMania, I thought was fantastic, and it was really a good way to display what they both can offer. The ending, I thought, was a bit, I don't know. I was not expecting El Grande Americano to win. I was expecting Rey Fénix to win, but I guess honestly, if they're going to build up on this character of El Grande Americano, then they do need to make him look a little bit more legit. And he didn't really look like legit in winning this match because he had to cheat to do it. He put a metal plate into his mask and then connected with that flying headbutt, and then that was it. 1, 2, 3. But like I said, a good match, short match. Did it really need to be on Mania? I don't think so. This definitely seems to me more like a Raw on Netflix match, or even a SmackDown, or just, a regular show match. But they did what they could with the time that they had, and I just thought it was cool to kind of get to see both of them on WrestleMania. So, El Grande Americano versus Rey Fénix. If you want to watch it, you can. If it's not a necessity, I feel like. Now, the next match might have a little bit of a hot take on this one, but it was Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. And I thought the match was good. A lot of people I'm seeing online did not think the match was good. Sure, there were at some points where it looked a little scrappy and a little sloppy, and where they really weren't connecting, in some moments where there was just kind of like they would just kind of like run into each other, or you could kind of tell that they really needed to communicate the next spot to one another. But the scrappiness, other than that, like I think it adds a little bit to the real story that they've been showing the past few weeks on SmackDown. Ever since that one shoot promo on SmackDown, these two ladies have just been going after one another verbally and physically. And just to finally see it pay off at WrestleMania, I think it was a good payoff. I think it was a good match. Having Tiffany win and beat Charlotte, I think, was a good decision. A lot of the fans there in Vegas did not want Charlotte to win. I myself did not want Charlotte to win, but I think I did expect Charlotte to win just because she is who she is. She is Charlotte Flair. So I think I just automatically, in my head, decided that Charlotte Flair was going to win. And then when Tiffany Stratton won, it actually was a nice shock to me and to the people in Vegas. it wasn't too long of a match. I would say probably about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Not all of it was sloppy. Not all of it looked scrappy, but some of it did. But other than that, other than those moments when it looks scrappy or sloppy, I thought it was a very, very good match. A lot of back and forth. It looks like Tiffany might have chipped her tooth at one point, somewhere closer to the end of the match. There was a lot of moments where these two were actually just really like laying into one another and really, really hitting each other. But I think it added to the match, and I think it made it look even better. Where this will go, I don't know. Tiffany Stratton, still women's champion. We'll have to see. Like I said, hopefully they'll have some good feuds cooking for her over the summer and over the spring. I'm just glad Charlotte Flair didn't win, because I'm tired of seeing Charlotte Flair as women's champion, especially every time she comes back from the injury. And even after she won the Royal Rumble, a lot of people did not want, a lot of people didn't even want her to win the Rumble, but she did that, and a lot of people didn't want her to win a WrestleMania, so a lot of people got their wish. I feel like eventually they are going to give it to Charlotte, just because that's just what always happens, but it didn't happen at Mania, and I think that was a good decision. This was probably be one of my more favorite matches on the card from night one, and maybe just from the card in general as we get into night two. But yeah, I think it was a good match, and hopefully that's the end of their feud. We've got one more match to talk about before the triple threat main event, and that is LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the WWE United States Championship. I thought it was a good match. It was a very short match, but I was expecting it to be a squash match, and I'm glad it wasn't. They actually gave LA Knight a lot of good offense towards Jacob Fatu. They both are just great in-ring workers, and I wouldn't expect anything less of them than to put on a great WrestleMania match. Jacob Fatu won the United States Championship. I thought it was a little crazy that we didn't get any interference from Solo. I'm kind of glad we didn't get any interference from Solo. Now, with Jacob Fatu holding that championship, maybe we will eventually get to that Solo versus Jacob Fatu feud. I feel like that is going to eventually be on our way soon. With LA Knight, I don't really know what you do with him from here on out. You could have him feud with Jacob Fatu for a little bit longer, but I think after that, then you just maybe send him on to maybe the main event if there's any room up there. But I think they both put on a really good match. It was a short one, but it was one of those ones where it's short, but it really keeps you invested and it really keeps you going. And it was just two great athletes and two great wrestlers doing what they do best on the grandest stage, and you always love to see it. I'm happy to see Jacob Fatu actually on a WWE WrestleMania card. There was a world and a timeline where a lot of people thought that he wouldn't ever make it to WWE or WrestleMania, but it's finally here, and he's holding singles gold for the first time in his WWE career. So can't wait to see where this reign takes us with Jacob Fatu. And now it is time to talk about the main event, which, man, oh man, what a match it was. Triple threat, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Paul Heyman by CM Punk's side, as we found out that was the favor throughout the past couple weeks. What an awesome match. It's only the makings a match you could only probably see in a 2K game, but no, we got it as the WrestleMania main event for night one. It was fantastic from start to finish. From start to finish, they immediately just started going after one another, not giving any fucks on who they were attacking or who they were going after. It was really good. There were a lot of cool spots within this match. The pace picked up really quickly. And the ending just blew my mind. And this triple threat did not need to be some sort of bloody, weapons fest. It really didn't. With triple threat match, we already get that kind of anything goes stipulation. So a lot of people saying this needed an Extreme Rules or a Hell in a Cell stipulation. I disagree. I think just them having a triple threat match, having anything goes, was fantastic. Them being able to have free reign over however and wherever, I think was great. There was even a part of the match where CM Punk and Seth Rollins took it all the way out to the crowd in Allegiant Stadium, and they started fighting, and CM Punk used a trash can on Rollins, and they were using that back and forth on one another. I've never seen a triple threat match where there's been so much like hatred and so much like genuine like a dislike for one another, because you could very well tell watching this match that these three do not like each other, but they're gonna do it, they're gonna get along, and they're all gonna walk out with that same payday. Paul Heyman being in CM Punk's corner, I thought was pretty cool for the first time in decades, and it actually completes a story that was decades in the making, almost back in 2012, CM Punk said, or Paul Heyman said to CM Punk, when you walk down that WrestleMania ramp to main event, I'm going to be there with you. And sure enough, he was. Living Colour was there to play Cult of Personality live, so CM Punk could enter. I thought it was a very good performance by Living Colour. The spots in the match, man, they were just crazy. It's going to be one of those matches that you always want to go and rewatch, just to watch for just the epicness of it. Just three guys who hate each other getting the opportunity to destroy each other on the biggest stage of them all. And we got into the suspenseful part of the match when Paul Heyman started getting involved. We came to a standstill where all three men were just exhausted from beating the crap out of each other. Roman Reigns put Punk through a table, put Rollins through a table. Rollins tried to team up with Roman to put Punk through a table, but Roman wasn't having any of that, as he can't trust Seth Rollins, which rightfully so. I mean, the guy who made you what you are today is wanting to team with you again, and he already turned his back on you once or twice, or however many times you want to say it. So why would Roman Reigns trust Seth Rollins again? Which obviously he didn't. Then they took it back into the ring. Paul Heyman walks over to the timekeeper's area, picks up a steel chair slowly, and I'm sitting back in my chair, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. This is going to get good. After it was already good. So Paul Heyman walks over to the ring, walks over to the apron. He's looking. CM Punk is in the one corner closest to him. Roman's in the corner over there to the right. And Paul Heyman is torn. He is torn in between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief versus Paul Heyman's best friend. And shockingly, Paul Heyman made the decision to move the chair towards CM Punk and move it in his direction. And then Paul Heyman climbs into the ring, and we see CM Punk get up with the steel chair, and he's about to hit the Tribal Chief. He's about to hit Roman Reigns with it. The crowd's in shock that Paul Heyman has chosen CM Punk over Roman Reigns. And the slimy son of a bitch, Paul Heyman, comes from behind and gives a low blow to CM Punk, turning his back on his best friend for over a decade. A lot to unpack there, but we've got more. After that, we then see, after that I was already like, oh my God, why Paul Heyman? Okay, obviously choosing the Tribal Chief. This makes sense. I get it. I understand why we're doing this. And then he is just talking Roman up. He's saying, I acknowledge you, my Tribal Chief. And he hands him the chair. And right then and there, I knew something bad was going to happen. Roman gets up, is holding the chair in his hands. He's about to hit Seth Rollins the same way that Rollins hit Roman all those years ago, destroying the Shield, breaking the Shield up, and driving one of their eventual brothers, Jon Moxley, out of WWE. So Roman was about to get payback once again, just like he did at WrestleMania 40, for everything that Seth Rollins has ever put him through. And right when Roman Reigns is about to swing the chair, Paul Heyman does the unthinkable and turned on the Tribal Chief and low-blowed Roman Reigns. My jaw was on the floor. I was shocked. I could not believe what I was watching. The past 5 years, I should say now, ever since Roman Reigns came back into WWE in August 2020 and won the championship, he has been flanked by his wise man, Paul Heyman. And to see that not be the case anymore is it's crazy to me. And after Paul low-blowed Roman, he He stood up, grabbed the chair, walked it over to Seth Rollins and placed it in his hands. A big old smile comes across the face of Seth Rollins, and I don't even know what we have witnessed. Paul Heyman is now with Seth Rollins. After this happens, Seth Rollins beats the crap out of Roman Reigns, and I'm pretty sure he beat the crap out of Punk. And then Rollins hits a curb stomp on CM Punk, and then hits a curb stomp on Roman, and then pins Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins wins the triple threat night 1 main event match in just a barn burner of, I thought it was excellent. Two unexpected heel turns of Paul Heyman just really put a cherry on top of it all. And then the final scene we saw of WrestleMania 41 before it went off the air was Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins standing at the top of the ramp, just looking down at a disheveled Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And now we have Seth Rollins aligning himself with Paul Heyman. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, this is awesome. It's going to be the start of a new, I think it's going to be a start of a new era for Seth Rollins. This is really going to solidify him as this main event guy. I mean, every time Paul Heyman is around somebody, they almost always go to the main event, besides Curtis Axel. But, yeah, just what a hell of a main event match. And personally, I do think this triple threat was better than the night 2 main event of John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins are going to be on a I don't know. It's so hard to make any thought of it. I guess we just need to let Triple H cook, or we just need to let this ride take us on it and let us enjoy it. Because I'm all here for it, and I can't wait to see what Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman do. Overall, I thought WrestleMania Night 1, it was good. I think there were some parts where it was either it felt very fast or felt rushed or just felt, very anticlimactic. But other than that, I think Night 1 as a whole was good. I would say the only matches I'd probably get rid of maybe from the card is El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix and the New Day versus the War Raiders. But other than that, all the other matches I think were pretty good, and I'm very happy with the outcomes that we got. I'm shocked with the Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, but I'm just very happy to see that we're going in a different direction. Other than that, I think that does it for my Night 1 review. I'm going to do a Night 2 review. It's going to be filmed the same day, in the car, same stuff. So if I'm wearing the same stuff, that's why. But I will see you guys in the next one if anybody watches. See ya.